What's up, everyone? Just wanted to take this moment to give a shout out to Happy Day Farm. Took the family out last week so we can go pumpkin picking out in Jersey. So, for anybody local that lives here in New York, it's about an hour drive south. Not too bad, pretty cool stuff. And even if you don't want to go pumpkin picking, they have other options and other things to do for the family. It's great for the kids. So, I'm currently looking online and it looks like they still have tickets available for next weekend. Even if you're not doing anything for Halloween, if you still want to get some pumpkin picking in or other activities, check out Happy Day Farm in Jersey. The website is happydayfarmnj.com and check it on out. Let's get started with the show. I am Luis Agustin, and this is A View to Film. All right, welcome back to A View to Film. Today I have a very special guest, my sister-in-law, mother of two, one of my personal heroes. She's, awesome to me. And sister to Mr. Miguel Abreu, who was on a prior podcast. And she's dying to be on the show finally. So welcome, please, Miss Katherine Abreu. Welcome.
Hi, thank you.
So, do you want to clear the air before we start this podcast about comments that Miguel made?
Being the strict sister? Yes, that is true. I'm the strict sister.
Why do you think he feels that way about you?
I don't know. I guess I'm the oldest.
Okay.
So I'm the next. I follow my mom.
Oh, okay. Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, I guess.
I'm the second in command.
Hey, listen, look, we're both the older child in our family. So I share a little bit of that with you as well. So, when your parents lean on you to be the one to just discipline your younger sibling, that's what happens.
Yeah,
so
that's what you got.
Anyway, so now that we cleared that out of the way, what movie are we talking about today?
The Notebook.
Oh, such a great film, right?
Yes.
In your own words, Kathy, why do you love this film so much?
It has a good description of what someone should do or can do if they really love someone. It shows people a different type of love that we're not used to seeing now.
I agree with you. And this is the reason why I really enjoy this film a lot. And I was happy that you brought it up for two reasons. Because it came out back in 2004. So as you know, when you do your research, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the great thing about it is, and like, this is something that I'm going to tell to all my listeners, that this kind of love is what you really truly see out there, right? You see a couple that, they're not perfect, and they might have their differences, but they still get along, and then they love each other and they care each other. They care for each other, that they're going to go to war for each other, regardless of whoever comes down on them.
Yeah.
And the number one thing that I was going to mention to my listeners is, how do you feel, and this is my question to you, this love compared to the love you saw in Titanic?
I guess they were able to have a relationship, a long-term relationship.
Okay.
And they had a relationship from the beginning till the end. Okay. Titanic was just like a couple of days, and that's it.
So the reason I compare those two always is because in the story of Titanic, that is one of the loves that a lot of people go to, like, oh, that's one of the greatest love because he sacrificed himself and blah, 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 right? But I'm not going to make it a secret that I am not a fan of Titanic. Mm-hmm. I would prefer The Notebook over that movie. And I think that the love we see in The Notebook is a better, more genuine love.
Yeah.
But I just wanted your thoughts on that because it's true. Like, a lot of people just bring it up like, oh, that's the best story, even if it was a couple of days. Anyway, so long story short, we prefer The Notebook.
Yes.
So let's jump right into the movie. What did you think about Noah's, at the beginning of the film, aggressive nature to try to get with Allie?
He was very consistent and he took his risk.
Okay.
Because he liked her. He didn't know her, but there was something about her that really got to him. So I think that's one of the things that you see in his character, and you see it throughout the whole movie because he was very consistent till the end.
Right.
He was there for her.
Why do you think he immediately was drawn to her? Just is it that spark you see in somebody, or is it just because of how a book is written that we've seen? Because I don't know. Sometimes, what do you think?
maybe they were different and there was something about her. He was coming from a different background
Mm-hmm.
and she was there for the summer. So it was something new, someone new.
Right. Would you have liked for a potential boyfriend of yours back in high school to try to sacrifice himself when he was hanging off?
That was too much.
That was too
That was
much.
too
No, you wouldn't
scary.
date somebody like
I
that.
don't like taking risks like that. That would be too scary. I
No,
think.
but I'm saying the guy sacrificing himself for
Oh,
you.
that would
How
be
would you feel?
nice. That
Yeah,
would
that
get
would
my
be nice.
attention, of course. But I don't know. That's a little too crazy. It will get my attention.
It would get your attention.
Yeah.
So you would give him a date.
Maybe.
You can be honest here.
Maybe.
Maybe you would give him a date. Okay, all right, that's fine. All right. What about his first words to her when he said that he wanted to dance with her? What did you feel about that?
That was very sweet.
Okay.
That
Why
was
do you
very
think that
sweet.
is?
I don't know. I mean, he didn't know her, so I think that was something nice to do. It wasn't fresh. It was just like, oh, can we dance? I think that was romantic.
So here's a random question for you. You have kids.
Yes.
If their boyfriend or girlfriend tells you,
Oh my
comes
God.
in, yeah,
What
no.
are we talking about?
That's
that?
it. No, that's it. We're gonna open this up.
They're little.
No, that's fine. It'll happen. Don't worry. If you hear this story that a guy or a girl try to do something crazy to just get their attention, they're like, "Oh my God, mom, I'm so in love with so and so." Well, how would you feel about that then?
I think it's different, of course, because I'm a mom and my
Mhm.
kids are little and I don't want to think about them dating right now. But I think if I hear that something like that happens to my daughter or my son,
Okay.
whatever,
Yeah, no, of course. Yeah, boyfriend,
I think it will
girlfriend.
be maybe someone worth getting to know. Like it will be maybe nice to give him a chance to meet the family or whatever, or let them date, depending on their age.
Okay. All right. But do you have to know the story of how they met, or that wouldn't matter to you?
No, I would like to know how they met. Of
Okay.
course,
Okay. All right. Fair enough.
I need to know. You need to know the details.
I guess you're right. You're right. All right. So here's a random one for you before we like dive in a little bit further into the movie. When was the first time that you remember watching this film? And hold on, because I see you're thinking, I see your brain thinking, right? The only reason I specifically asked this question for this movie is because, spoiler alert, we haven't given anything away, but I want to mention a spoiler alert to the listeners. We know what happens at the end now, and I've rewatched it obviously more than once and try to get ready for this podcast as well. Does the first time you saw this movie, was it more impactful, or is it still give you the same impact when you know what's going to happen to Noah's story and to Allie's story?
It's funny because the first time I saw it, I went to the movie theaters with a friend
Okay.
and we cried.
Oh, wait, hold on, wait 1 second. This is a female friend?
A female friend.
Okay, just want to clarify.
So it was a nice date with my friend.
Okay, all right.
And I cry a lot,
Right.
but I
okay.
still cry. I saw the movie recently and I cry.
Right.
Maybe I didn't cry as much as I cried the first time because I knew what's coming.
Right.
But I cry. I feel the same. Maybe not the same intensity, but you still feel emotional
Right.
when you see it.
Yeah.
Or I feel emotional when I see it.
Is it because you feel that weight come on, like you know what their struggles that they went through, or
I
why do you
think
think
so
that is?
because I think they show their emotions in a way that you feel it. Like it
Right.
you feel what they're feeling or
Okay.
what no one's feeling.
Yeah. All right. I like that take. I mentioned that because for me personally, now that I know, and I guess this is for me in like all movies, now that when I know the ending, I'm like, okay, yeah, that's cool. Not that it's not emotional. Don't get me wrong. I love this movie. This is a great film. It's just you lose that little something because the ending and what happens at the end and the twist, and you're like, oh wait, okay, wow. I guess to me it kind of loses that, but I still regard this as a great love story, and I really do love and enjoy watching it. But let's get right into it. So we're going through the movie. Noah and Allie are getting to know each other. We're fast forwarding to a quick of their relationship. And then we get their very first conflict of the film, right? Where during, I think it was like a little dinner party that they were having,
Mm-hmm.
that the mom, I believe, mentions to Noah and to her out loud that she got into Sarah Lawrence, a New York
Mm-hmm.
school. And obviously, you're already at an age where you've dated and you've gone through boyfriends. How would that feel to you? Or how would you take that when you're finding out something that important where your boyfriend is potentially going to move away? Like, how would that hit you? How would you have reacted?
It will be very upsetting because if you have a relationship with someone, you would like to know what's, the plans of the person, especially if you're going somewhere else, or if you're moving or you're
Right.
traveling, you would like to know in advance so you can prepare yourself emotionally.
But this was like a summer thing, though,
Yeah.
and they both came in it with a little bit of different energy. This,
Mm-hmm.
I guess, I got that from this time watching the
Mm-hmm.
film,
Mm-hmm.
where she was enjoying herself, Allie,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't know if she foresaw a future like he foresaw a future from the very beginning,
Yeah.
which is why I really enjoyed his character the most, because
Mm-hmm.
he was already forward thinking. And I think that when that news was announced that she was going to college and going to go study, like you can literally Ryan Gosling, like he's such a great actor. You can see
He's
his
good.
face change.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're like, wait, what? What do you mean you're going
You're
away?
leaving?
So then here's another question for you. So boyfriend tells you, okay, yeah, I'm gonna go over here, and you really are into them. What's the level where you're saying, I'm gonna move out with you? Yeah, I'm down, I'm going. Or no, it's not gonna happen ever.
That was a very short relationship.
Right.
They
Okay.
only had like a couple of weeks dating.
Okay.
Right?
Let's give it a
I
summer, right? Because it
Okay.
was the whole
Yeah, it was the
summer.
whole summer.
It was a summer thing, right? We'll
I
give them a
mean,
month or 2 months.
I don't know. Me personally, I don't know if I will move if I'm just dating someone for the summer.
But what if you know? If he knew, I guess that's my first question to Noah, and like the book writer and the
Mm-hmm.
movie writer.
Mm-hmm.
Why didn't you just move with this girl if you really are crazy about her?
But maybe because he didn't see himself in a city like New York. She was going to school. What was he going to do here?
I understand that. I think that it all comes down to sacrifices, right?
That's true.
So and I'm going to challenge him on it, he should have thought about maybe sacrificing something
Mm-hmm.
to be with this young lady. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, I
And
understand.
I guess that's the
some
way.
people do it,
Right.
and it works for
I'm
them.
not, yeah, and it works. And some people it doesn't work, because I've also seen other people where they'll move for a boyfriend or a girlfriend, and all of a sudden the relationship is done and they get kicked out.
And maybe he didn't know if he was going to be able to find a job there, or maybe provide for her needs, because she was coming from a
But may I say something?
high class.
May
Yeah.
I say something?
Yes.
If you find out your boo is loaded, what do you need to worry about providing?
It doesn't look right, Lois.
Okay, that's fine.
It doesn't look right because he's the man and she's the one with the money. Her parents, I mean, the dad was okay, but the mom was like,
Okay, I'm glad you brought that up. That was my next question. Who was worse? Which parent?
The mom.
Why do you think that is?
I think because we know that she had her own story, her own background.
But don't you think, you as a mom, I'm going to challenge you here, right? And I'm glad you brought that up. If she had already been through something very similar, and you have the wisdom to teach your kids, why is she the bad one? Or I would say the worst one. She's not bad. We kind of understand where she's coming from.
Maybe she just wanted to protect her, like her dad tried to protect her,
right,
at some point in her life. I don't know.
No, I'm just saying, yeah, like she had already been through a summer love, a fling, and she made the executive decision to go after the money. I'm sorry. That's
it's true.
Right?
Yeah.
I think that, and I don't know who's worse. I think they both set a bad precedent for their daughter. And they judged Noah from the very beginning that he was poor and she deserved somebody better, right? And that, like, to me, bothers me from like the very beginning. I think that you should never teach, even though this is back in the day, but still it's not right. Right? And she's gonna love who she's gonna love, even if she is young. I just think that her having that experience, I think sometimes, as I'm sure you've known, when you've tried to coach or mentor your younger brother, shout out to Miguel, you're coaching him because you already have roughly 8 years of experience of life over him. So when you tell him, hey, don't do this, It's because you know better. And now that I'm older, and now that we're older, we realize why our parents give us a hard time
Yeah,
about
that's true.
don't do this, don't do that, don't,
And she really didn't know what was going to happen with her summer fling because she
right.
ended up marrying this rich guy.
Exactly, right?
So, yeah.
So then that's a great what if question, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's say he goes with her and she still meets another dude. Then what happens?
Yeah, maybe she was upset that her daughter was going through the same thing she was going, and maybe she didn't have the courage to leave with the guy again.
Exactly, right? So I never realized this, and there's something I don't know if you picked up on, but they were out to 2 a.m. hanging out.
Yeah.
Did you notice that?
That was late.
What's the cutoff time for your kids to go out at night?
My kids, what age?
Well, they're 17 in the movie. So 17-year-old.
Maybe 12, like Cinderella.
Wow, midnight? All right.
Maybe.
All right.
Maybe.
Okay.
Maybe it also depends.
Hopefully your son can hear this real quick.
No.
I'm going to send him this clip.
Maybe it depends who they're going out with. Where are they? Because you need to know.
Okay. All right. So they get in trouble. They go out at 2 a.m. Obviously, the parents are in conflict with him. They don't really like Noah, right? They go back to the house, and the dad pretty much tells Noah's like, "Get out of here. Like, do you stay there? What are you doing? How do you feel in that situation when they're having the argument with Allie?"
That was really messed up.
Why
because he was listening to the whole conversation.
Yeah.
And, they were talking about him. So I'm sure he was like, oh my God, like, these people don't like me. And I love this girl.
Right.
I will leave, I think. Just because it would be too much for me.
You were giving them personal space?
Yeah.
So then what about Allie's line to her dad to her mom, that you don't look at daddy the way I look at Noah? Do kids know about love at that age? What do you think, Kathy, in your experience?
At 17?
Yeah, at 17.
I think that's something for you to notice. If you have your parents and you know how your parents are with each other, if you see someone else being more like or caring or lovey-dovey or more passionate, you will compare because that's obvious to your eyes.
Right.
Like you will be able to say, oh no, wait, like I know people show love in different ways, but I guess for her, maybe having this thing with Noah was different than her parents' relationship.
Okay.
I think at that age, if there's a difference between two relationships, like the way they see each other, the way they talk to each other.
Interesting. I just no, I'm only saying that because it's like,
you don't think so?
I don't know, man. I guess I'm coming at it from my age now.
Okay.
Where I look at back then, and do you really know when you're that young? I guess maybe because me and you haven't experienced that when we were that young. Maybe you don't really
know what love is, but if you see a couple and then you see another couple and you see that they are more expressive, and you see one that they're not, you will wonder like, oh my God, like they're together, there's two different couples. Do they really love each other? Okay. I mean, people show love in different ways. But I guess for her, it was maybe something new because she didn't see that passion between her parents.
Yeah. I guess it's tough for me to accept. And once again, I agree with you that her parents were a little harsh. Mm-hmm. It was tough. Now, I would have let them date though. Like, hey, Noah, if you want to come up, come visit. Like, you're cool to come and visit. But like for her to change her life for you is a lot, or you to do the same. And I wouldn't ask that for him.
It is a lot at that age. She was in high school. She was going to college.
Yeah, she was going to college. Yeah. So she leaves, right? Mm-hmm. Noah sends her one letter for every day, right? For a whole year. Was that the first emotional part of the movie for you?
That was nice. Writing a letter every day.
Here's my hottest take. Allie doesn't check the mail? Like, I'm just saying. I'm just being honest with you.
But remember, she went to college. She was away.
Hold on. See? Challenge. They left early.
Oh, that is true.
Don't forget. She asked her mom, we were supposed to leave later.
Yeah.
And if he wrote her a letter for every day that she was gone, She should have gotten some letters in the summer.
Yeah, that is
At the end
true.
of the summer, at least a week before she went to
She
school.
should have been checking her mail before her mom.
And I would argue that's the same way that if you're texting somebody and they don't
Yeah.
respond to you for a couple days, you're like, yo, what? Nah, you don't care.
So let me stop.
In 1940, running to your mail, like, she would have had that excitement, like, yo, did he write me?
Yeah.
Did he call me? You know what I mean? All right, he doesn't have my number, but he definitely wrote me.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I don't know. Maybe she was busy with all her
I'm doubting
activities.
I'm doubting Allie's devotion.
I think he was more into it
okay
than her.
So that's great that you say that. It actually, before I ask you this very important question, because I don't want to forget it. So we meet Lon Hammond, right? She moves away. She meets him. Which one do you like more, Lon Hammond, Noah? Who do you find more attractive?
Noah.
But is this because the movie's based on him? Or no, just a general, like, all right.
I think the way he approached her was more not fresh, but he was more risky. He was more I'm gonna say fresh because
so you don't so yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. So now that you're on the record as saying that you like fresh guys.
And it was more natural. No, I don't like fresh guys. But it was more natural. Like, it was more like, flirting. Like,
but I think Lon came at her respectful.
He was respectful. I'm not saying that he wasn't respectful. Since he was more on her maybe level, it was different.
What do you mean by that?
Like, he had money.
Right, okay. He had the status.
Noah, he had the status. Noah didn't, so he was able to get a date with her.
That's true.
And then this guy will be easier for him to go and ask the parents if he could go on a date with her, because they will say yes right away.
That is true. That is true. Yeah, back in the day. Yeah. That's true.
So I think for Noah, it was more genuine for him.
So you made your choice, Noah, right?
Yes.
Okay. So here's the reason why I didn't want to forget this question. If we've noticed that Allie just left, and I'll give it to her, right? Because she went back. She spoke with Finn. She told them she professed her love. Please let him know. But I guess I had a hard time the fact that she never or try to bother to get a message from him. Because when you really care about somebody, right, you can't wait until they contact you. You just can't wait.
Yeah.
And the fact that she didn't go looking for something,
she didn't
trouble me. Yeah. That
she had a friend, her girlfriend.
That troubles me, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so in your opinion, watching this movie multiple times, when do you think is it that Allie changed and showed her devotion back to the same level that Noah was showing from the very beginning?
Maybe after she got her letters, that she started reading them and she realized how much he cared for her.
Even when he told her what happened, do you think she still had doubts?
I think so, because he told her, he wrote to her, but maybe she wasn't 100% sure until her mom gave her the letters. That she was like, "Oh, look."
So that's letters. When you think, like, "Yo, that's it. Really I am all in."
Yeah.
I think that, personally speaking, because the way I see this story, and now that I'm thinking about it, if she didn't find Lon, I don't think she would have gotten the motivation to go, when she saw Noah, to go back to Noah. I feel like when she saw what was not there, like you just said, right? The genuine approach he had with her, and the feelings he showed, I think she immediately was like, wait a second, this is not what I should be feeling. And she started the doubts. And then that's when she changed, because she was in the bathtub, right? When she was like getting for fitting.
She had the newspaper next to.
I personally feel that when she saw the newspaper was when it hit, all those feelings came back, and she realized, like, wait a second, like, I had something great. Yeah. And he's still alive, because.
And he did what he said he was going to do.
And he did what he said he was going to do.
Consistent.
He was consistent. Exactly. Is there a way, or any way that you could think that Lon could have won her back? Because I feel like he lost her there, me personally. But what do you think, seeing the movie?
No, I don't think so. Because what she had with Noah was so special.
I see.
Like, maybe if she wouldn't come back to see Noah, maybe.
Okay.
But she came back, so all the memories came back. Right. Everything came back to her.
Right. Another random question for you. Martha Shaw or Allie?
Allie. Martha was nice. She was a nice lady.
I feel like she was really nice.
She was too nice. Too nice.
All right, I'm just saying. I don't know, man.
No, she was a
Allie,
nice lady.
I
I
don't
hope she
know.
found someone.
I don't know, man. Allie, I don't know. So she realizes Noah's did what he had to do, right? Why do you think she risked it to go see him while she was engaged?
Maybe because she felt something and she wanted to make sure that, she needed to see Noah again to see if what she was feeling was still real or true to her.
Okay.
She needed to close that chapter in her life that maybe she didn't get to close because she never got to say goodbye to him.
Do you think that's okay? You personally speaking.
I mean, if you're about to get married, you need to make sure you love the person you're going to get married to.
Okay. Yeah.
So I think you need to make sure. So I think that's okay. I mean, doing something while you're engaged, maybe that's not right. But making sure about your feelings, then I think you should.
Okay.
Double check.
All right. we get to midway. They're having this romantic time together. He takes her out on the boat ride, and he tells her, like, I wrote you for a year. Are you like it? I actually wrote this down because I want to mention to you. If this was in 2019, he would have been like, "Are you crazy? I wrote to you every day. Are you crazy? What do you mean?" Like, is she just? Why did she even doubt him? Is my question.
Because she didn't see the letters, and maybe she didn't think her mom will hide the letters from her. I mean,
But
she
her
had.
mom,
I know her mom
this
didn't.
dude.
I know, but hello, like she probably thought her mom was not gonna hide these things from her.
Do you want to get into some favorite quotes?
Sure.
All right. What's your favorite quote, Miss Cat?
What I like, science only goes so far, and then it comes God.
Interesting.
Yes.
Interesting. Who was it that said that again?
Noah. Oh, Noah. Duke.
Oh yeah, that's right. When they asked him about what is this? She had degenerative Alzheimer's?
Dementia.
She had dementia. Yeah. Okay. Have you ever? Anybody in your family ever had that?
No, not in my family.
Okay.
We know people that had Alzheimer's and they passed, but not dementia. Not in my family.
Well, I'm gonna share a little something personal. Like my grandma had Alzheimer's, and she forgot us. I would say like in her last 10 or so years, right? Right when she was already hitting her 90s. But the one thing, and this is what makes me a little emotional about this movie, is that the fact that he takes the time every day to read to her. I feel like it really does help and it works. When I would sit down with my grandma, I would speak to her for a while. And at first she wouldn't remember me, but eventually she would say funny things like, "Wait, you look like my like so-and-so."
Yeah.
And she wouldn't put two and together, but eventually she would realize who I was.
She'll remember.
Yeah. Like, and that to me is what I take away from this movie.
Yeah.
The fact that the novel, they tell this story about that this man, Duke, Noah, spoiler alert, takes his time to do this for his wife, and it shows that real dedication, like we spoke about, like, from the very beginning.
He was consistent. He didn't give up. The doctor would tell him, "Why are you doing this? Like, she's not gonna get it." The kids, his kids, like, "What are you doing here? Come home."
Yeah, so they
Are you serious?
So no, so hold on, so stay right there. So the kids come. Did you realize when your first time watching this movie that this was about them?
I didn't even realize those were her kids.
Yeah.
And then I was like, wait a second, those are their kids. Like, it's not his kids, it's their kids. Because they were so cold. I understand that they were not supposed to be like, "Oh, Mom," because she can't remember.
Yes.
But I feel like they were like detached from their mom. They didn't have that connection anymore.
Do you know why I feel like that is? I think that, and we saw this later in the movie, where when she didn't know who you were, she got very defensive and felt threatened.
Yeah.
And I think that maybe they've been through episodes with her that they didn't want to scare her.
Yeah, no, but even when they were talking to their dad and the mom was not there, like, it wasn't really about her. They really sounded like they care more about dad and not mom. And I wrote a paper about this for my
Share.
disability class.
Yeah, what do you think?
It was about disabilities and how people in society see people with mental illness.
Okay.
And how they, a lot of them, because they're not able to care for the person with the illness, they put them in a home, and it's not the same because they lose that connection with the person, and it's like you're excluding the person from all the social activities and everything. So I wrote a paper based on the movie.
Well, what do you think the conclusion was with that? Like, what do you?
You know, that even though they have a mental illness, they're still part of the family. She was still alive.
Right.
But it seemed to them, it was like, oh, you know, we can come and take turns and visit, but it's not the same. And he said it, like, you guys want me to come home, but she's home to me.
Right.
So, you know, for him, she was still family. For them, she was just, you know,
grandma,
or maybe
Mom.
More like a stranger now, because you know they didn't have that connection with her. But they were not there every day. He was the one reading, and he was looking for those little moments of her. That's why he kept reading, because he wanted to get her back, to bring her back.
I'm glad you brought that up, and I think that, and it's about cultural differences.
Yes,
because I would not see our family ever do that.
Yeah,
you know, like we kept in touch with our grandma.
We're very attached.
Yeah,
and other cultures are not as attached. They're more like, okay, you're 18, you can leave.
Is that what you're gonna do with your son and daughter?
No.
18, get out. 18, move to New York.
Oh my God, no.
Move somewhere else with your lover.
I moved out of my house at what, 28, 29?
Okay.
And I was so scared to move out of my house. Because my mom was not. She was not into it. She was like, no. Why don't you get married first? I was like, why?
But don't you feel more accomplished that you did that? That's good.
No, I did. But our culture is very different.
Yeah.
Like my grandma, my mom's mom, like she had a lot of medical issues, but I don't think we ever thought about putting him in a home and just go visit her. Like she had a home attendant, but we will go visit her, spend time with her, or we'll go to the park. Like it's very different. So I think that's why I was like, oh no, like I need to use this movie for this paper. So it was good.
I agree with you. No, I agree with you. And it's the same thing with my family. And I feel like, especially for us Dominicans, I think that maybe some people would look at us like we baby too much of our family. And
it's true. We do. You know? But I guess the way we care for them is very different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean, I'm glad to know that, you know, we're sending this message to your son.
Yes.
Don't put you in a home. No. He's not going to put you in a home. I promise I'll be right there next to you. My favorite quote from this movie was, "You wouldn't dare, I'm a married woman." And he responds, "Not yet."
That was nice too.
I think, your boy.
He was fresh.
I keep telling you.
He was fresh.
I was just going to say that it shows his consistency.
Yeah.
His devotion. He just, man, this guy does not stop. I would, if I owned a company, I would just hire him because I'm like, you're not going to give up on your
No,
your
he
goals.
was consistent. He knew what he wanted and he was consistent.
What is your favorite scene, Miss Kat?
Oh, when they're having dinner and she remembers after he was reading the story.
Oh, wow.
They had this special dinner and she remembered. And it got him emotional and she was emotional. I think for me, that's the best.
Okay.
Because it show like he worked so hard for this and he got it. That's my favorite.
I thoroughly enjoy that scene. I agree with you that's obvious that that's one of the best scenes in the movie. I was going to say, before I ask you this question, is something that I would change in the movie, personally speaking, now that I've seen it multiple times, and I know there's a lot of people, even my own producers who are looking at me, that don't agree with my opinion, but it's okay, it's my opinion.
Of course.
I would have ended the movie right there if I was a director of the film.
Okay.
I like the fact that when they realize, the audience realize that she gets her memory back, and it's them, that you hold the audience there, and then you just have them, like, you have the movie end right there when they're dancing, and you could even show the book that it was her who wrote it, like a little flash it on screen. I think that I liked the more optimist look of it. I mean, I know that they were meant to be together,
Yeah.
obviously, forever. I just, for me personally, my take on that, and that's the one thing I would have probably changed, is that I would have ended it there, just them slow dancing. And after you realize, because you're holding us, you're like, oh my God, it was them. Oh my God. Like,
Yeah.
you know? But that's just me personally. I don't know how you feel. What do you think about that?
That would be beautiful. But I think they have to show the reality of what the illness is too.
Right. Okay.
Because they can just put it like, oh, she remembers and that's it. Because a lot of people will be like, oh my God, no, they're going to remember. It doesn't stay like that.
But this is
So,
movies, though.
It's a movie,
This is
but I
movies.
think it's based on a real story.
Yes.
It's based on a true story.
It's based on a story, yes.
So
for
I think they needed to show it's a sad ending to me, but I think it's also beautiful because even though it's sad, but it's reality.
That's
And
true.
at the end, they were together. They ended up together.
That's true. I'll give you
It's
that.
just a different way.
No.
way of finishing a movie. But I think they have to show the reality of mental illness.
Your
So.
crying meter, right? Let's say your cry meter is the 10. Number 1 is 0 crying. Hold on. Here's a question. Them passing away together, or her realizing that it's him and it's the stories about them? Which one's a 10 in your cry meter?
Which is a 10. Maybe them passing away together.
Oh, wow. I can hear in your voice already.
I think.
Yo, yeah.
The other one is a 9.5.
9.5?
and then Allie forgetting him again, it's also like a 9.9.
Yo, how did you feel about that, though?
Oh,
that was crazy.
Tough. That was tough.
Yeah, that was crazy, right?
That was tough.
You see, my grandma, she never had like violent reactions because, like I said, it was different.
Yeah.
Hers was way worse. But yeah, it's just crazy how somebody can look at you and you just find it so hard to believe that they don't remember you. And I think that really hits home. You know, like for me personally, like
especially after you spend so many times with a person, so many memories, and it's tough.
My personal favorite scene, and I think this is something we see a lot when it's also referred to the Notebook, is when Allie got the letters, right? For me personally. And then Noah calls her out on her shit, you know, like, and he's just like, look, you see,
finally you got them.
And it's such a simple scene, but to me, that one held a lot of weight because that was the ultimate test, you know, to like show somebody who's younger.
Yeah.
And I guess he did it again when he, you know, got older and kept reading to her.
Yeah.
The fact that he just didn't stop.
No,
it was just crazy, man. What do you think about that movie?
He was very consistent. That's why I say that this is one of the movies that show what love really is.
Right.
Because he was consistent. He took risk. He didn't give up. Even when things seemed like she got this illness, she couldn't remember him, but he stayed there. Yeah. He had a few heart attacks and he stayed there.
Yo, consistent.
He could have been home with his grandkids.
Yeah.
But he was there. Yeah. He didn't give up.
I already told you mine. Would you have changed anything in this film? Is there anything you didn't really like? Didn't really understand?
You know, I really didn't like the fact that her kids were not that into helping her, but it's a cultural thing.
Right.
So I cannot change that because that's how it is.
Right. Did you notice that they also taught the kids too?
Yeah.
Like to kind of treat her that way?
Even the little one was more like loving because he went and he hugged her. Right. He didn't say much. But then the older one, she was like, oh, my name is, I don't remember her name.
Sorry.
But she introduced herself.
Oh, man. Those little kids. They were beautiful, though.
No, they're very cute.
All right. Mom, a question for you. Mm-hmm. Would you have stolen the letters and kept it away from her?
Maybe.
Follow-up question. Is Allie a tramp? Because she called her a tramp. Their words in the movie. 2 questions, 2-parter right there.
The letters. I don't know. Maybe I will give her the letters. Maybe read them with her.
I don't know if you were ready for that.
I don't know. I think Allie wasn't sure about what she wanted. She maybe thought she wanted to marry this guy
Right.
And then after seeing the picture of the house, she was so confused. I'm not going to judge her. Sorry.
Okay. Did you believe the mom when she said that she loved her dad?
I do.
Why?
I think so. Because, even though that was not, she also had like summer love that she really like was into. She said it. I met your dad and he was great and I fell in
He
love
had
with him.
money. Yeah.
Like the same way she probably thought she loved this other guy.
Lon.
But again, she married him and she had a family with him.
Right.
So, she was committed to her husband.
Okay. I don't know how I feel about that. No, I don't know. I guess and it's not that I don't want to talk shit about the mom, but it's just the way she presented it. The fact that she did have her love, her
Her
or
story.
whatever
too.
her story. She shares that with her daughter, and she genuinely just made a different decision.
Yeah.
She made, to me, as we say in sports, she made a business decision.
She did.
She made it, and then I guess back in the 1920s,
And maybe she was pushed by her parents.
right?
And then maybe she ended up falling in love with her husband. But then it makes me wonder why she kept going to the construction site to look at this
Yeah,
guy.
construction site every
So
day,
maybe
right?
maybe she wasn't fully in love with him.
See, low key.
Hmm.
Do you think that the parents eventually warmed up to Noah
Of
after
course.
she decided to be with him?
I mean, they were adults towards the end. Towards the
Mm.
it was like 7 years later.
It was 7 years later. Actually, that's one of the trivias that I wanted to bring up to you. Is that in the story that it's based on? It was actually 14 years later. They were 31 and she was
That's a
29.
long time. Mm-hmm.
Right? In the movie, I guess to make it more realistic,
Yeah.
it was 7 years that passed. Back in the 1930s, and this is a great thing that one of my producers brought up.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that would have been possible that she wouldn't have not been married, or he would have been married already, or had kids?
No, because they used to get married earlier back in the day.
No, that's what I'm saying. No,
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. Yeah. So
maybe that's why they change it. They
yeah, but
changed the
still-
amount of
But 7
time.
years back in this movie started in the 30s, went into the 40s and 50s. Back in the 40s, still, if you were 18, you were already getting married, having a kid or two. Once she met Lon, I found it, my producers found it, I think we can all agree that we found it a little strange that even at 7 years that she wasn't already having 2 kids. Like, hey, I'm gonna leave you, Lon, like baby daddy.
Maybe she was busy. She was going to college. She was a nurse, voluntary.
Yeah,
for the war and stuff.
But may I say something?
Yeah.
4 years of college, right? She was
know.
17, 18, 19, 20, 21, right?
Mm-hmm.
Go do the war for like 2 years. 23? I don't know.
And then she dated this guy
And
maybe
then she
for
did
like,
this guy
a
for like
year.
a year?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I guess. Yeah. I mean, how long was that engagement? I don't know. I guess, I guess when we do the math like that, I guess it makes sense. Well, anyway. A couple of other trivia I had for you that I found very interesting. Did you know that the older Allie was the mother of the director? I never knew that.
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, that was the director's mom.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that's who played the older Allie.
Oh.
Other trivia.
Interesting.
Did you know that Gosling and Rachel McAdams dated?
They had a relationship.
So, the other trivia is the rumor is that they had a really nasty relationship. They argued a lot.
Yeah.
My question to you is, did that show to you on screen on the movie? Could you tell that they had arguments, or what do you think about their chemistry on screen as actors?
I think they had a good chemistry.
You think so?
Yeah. You don't think so?
I think that the fact that the rumor is that they yelled at each other and couldn't really stand each other.
Yeah.
Really, to me, when they argued, when they were
no, when they had arguments, it looked like
it
really,
looked real. Yeah, smacker.
Yeah.
So I guess even I mean, I don't know how true that rumor is, but I think that one I really do believe more because. And wow, it's just credit to them for showing that and being professional.
Yeah.
That the fact that they showed that on screen, it was crazy to me. So what do you think about the ending? in general, in your thoughts?
It was beautiful. I
Yeah.
think he got his miracle and she got her miracle too, because she asked if she could, was it that she asked if she could pray, if they could pray, like if they could
Mm-hmm.
go live together.
Yeah.
And then it happened. So I think it was nice.
Okay.
It was very emotional, but I feel that they left together.
That's
And
true.
that's beautiful.
At what age would you show your kids this film?
Maybe when they're teenagers.
13?
Maybe 14, 15.
I'm just
Because
asking.
if they're younger, they're not really gonna understand much. And it's not it doesn't
Allie's
have a
mom right
happy
now.
ending. You know?
What? Why are you saying
It's
that?
not a
You don't think it's a happy ending?
because it's not like a happy ending that they're gonna watch in a Disney movie or like a
Well,
you know.
it's definitely not Disney movie.
No.
Right.
So I feel like they really have to have some type of understanding of, what relationships are about, what a family is, I think.
Teenager, you were saying?
Maybe teenager.
I think I saw this. Was that it was like the year before I graduated high school.
Yeah.
Because that's when it came out. So
Yeah.
it was late high school for me when I first saw this.
Mm-hmm.
You probably college?
College. I was in college.
There you go,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
Maybe older
you
than
might
I
have
guess.
to hold off on showing them this
Maybe
movie.
older. That's true. Maybe older.
So I'm gonna piggyback now. And sorry, I know we jumped out ahead to the ending, but when Noah sees her, was it right for him to try to find her? Because she was engaged with somebody else? Or even entertain the idea when she came to see him?
I think he probably wanted to know how she felt about him.
Right.
Or he needed some closure.
Okay,
because
yeah,
he was
that's
with
true.
Martha, but
That's
he
true.
didn't really love her. So he was probably he kept thinking about her. Because they didn't have any closure. They didn't break up officially. Like, okay, like, that's it. They had an argument, and then the next day, he didn't see her.
So see, we're going backwards now, right? She told him it's over. So they had closure. She told them, when somebody tells you, Kathy, it's over.
No, but
it
was over. An argument.
And he asked her, are you sure it's over?
No,
and she was like, yep, it's over.
No, because her parents were involved in this argument. They didn't have a conversation. Mm-hmm. They had a conversation outside of her house.
Right.
But they didn't have a conversation when they were calm. So they were supposed to meet up. But it didn't happen.
But that's the thing, though. He wasn't... I don't think he was the right state of mind to meet up, because he would have cursed her out. He would have cursed her out. I guess that's probably why he just went. I was like, hey, you know what? I'm going to just go do some work.
Yeah.
As we're closing up on the film, right? Is there something that influenced you from this film, or something you took away that's changed your life or made it in a different perspective?
Maybe the fact that they show how if you love someone, you should be consistent. Mm-hmm. Even when things are not going the way you plan. I think that's something that we should learn to be more consistent. Like, you could have an argument with your significant other, right, but at the end of the day, you should be there for each other.
I like that. That's pretty cool. Yeah, you just have to show consistency. Mm-hmm. You have to, as we're seeing online on IG, mm-hmm, and also what one of our producers says, you got to choose your heart, right?
Yeah.
So, you got to choose what you want to fight for.
Yeah.
And, we definitely have seen that in this film.
Yeah.
How many love story films have you seen, would you say?
Oh my gosh.
Like, too much to count? Too many to count? Not enough to count?
I have seen a lot, but maybe not enough.
I know this is one of your favorite, but is this the best?
Favorite.
Is this the best love story film?
I can't remember.
Of our generation.
My memory is not the same anymore.
Okay,
but this is one of the best.
One of the best?
Mm-hmm.
Is there another one that would be close to it?
I like P.S. I Love You.
Oh, really? I've never seen that one.
That's a good movie, too.
Okay. Is it a choir?
It has a similar a similar
Wait.
concept.
Wait. Not spoiler alert. What is it about again? I don't mind if you spoil it. Like, what is it about?
Well, this is a couple, and he was diagnosed with like an illness,
Okay.
and then he dies, and he leaves letters for her.
Yeah. I think I saw the trailer.
And like
for that.
activities that
Scavenger hunt.
Yeah, something
Scavenger
similar.
hunt? Okay.
But he's not there anymore. But she's reading these things, and it's a beautiful movie.
Okay.
Yeah.
The Crime Meter. We're bringing it back. P.S. I Love You or
Well,
The
The
Notebook?
Notebook. Is
Oh, wow.
up
Wow.
there.
Dang. Oh, shit,
Yeah.
shit.
I cry with the other one, but The Notebook,
Okay.
it's like crying. The Notebook. You want to cry? Watch The Notebook.
Is there any anything else you want to mention about the film that you really want to talk about?
I think there was something that I thought about, because the church that I used to go, the pastor, he passed. But
Okay.
one of the things that he would say was that his wife came first in his life.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, well, but you have kids. Like, what do you mean? But then this movie shows the same thing, because his wife came first. The kids were like, oh, come home, dad, or whatever. But he was like, no, she's my home. So when you get married, your wife or your partner is the person that's going to be with you till the end. Your kids will get married and have a family, but your significant other is going to be there for you.
Why do you think we have that misconception? That's a great point.
You know, when you get married and you have kids, like your kids become like the center of your family.
I can't speak on it because I don't have any kids. So yeah, that's why.
But your kids, they're the center of your family. But I think we forget that we marry a person and we had the kids with that person.
Right.
So that person should have priority in your life. And we tend to forget that. But then the pastor used to say that. And then I was thinking about the movie and I was like, but that's an example of that too.
Right.
So
if the roles were reversed, would Allie have done the same thing for Noah?
I think so.
You think so? She would have been like, all right, kids, let's go.
I mean, at this point,
we're leaving him in the home.
He did so much for her.
Yeah.
Like he fixed the house.
Right.
He made the paint room for her.
Right.
Like she wanted the house a particular way, and that's how he built it.
Right.
So I feel like, why wouldn't she?
Also,
you don't like her.
I was gonna say also trivia. That house is the home that she's staying in. I didn't know that. I didn't.
So I guess that at some point he turned the house into a home,
right?
Which is even like more like heartbreaking, because he thought about making their home her home,
right?
Or the senior home.
Yeah.
So everything was familiar to her, even though she couldn't remember. But that was her house.
It's pretty deep stuff, man.
Mm-hmm.
I love this movie. You ready to do this?
Yeah, that was great.
Who is your Arturo Fuentes MVP?
Duke.
Why is that?
He was the one telling the story. He was a consistent one.
Mm-hmm.
And he showed his emotions. Like I really felt at one point that he was the one. Like it was his story. When she couldn't remember him, that she had that panic attack. Like I saw his pain, and that's all I think about when I think about the emotional parts.
Yeah,
like,
no, of course.
How it hurt him.
Oh yeah, old man Duke. Okay, yeah. All right, I like it.
I think he's the one. Okay. What about you?
For me, who do you think it is?
Noah.
Yes, 100%.
Well, it's the same
100%.
guy.
No,
different
I know
age.
it's the same. Yeah, I know it's the same guy, but like I told you, it's the same thing with my favorite scene.
Yeah.
When he professes to her, and he makes his claim, he's like,
yeah.
Like to me, I jumped off my seat. Like he's like, yo, I wrote all these letters for you. Are you crazy? Do you know how dedicated I am? Like, I guess, it's kind of like the balance between so much love and then the frustration that sets in, because you know what you did and you just want that acknowledgement. Like, hey, listen, look what I did for you.
Yeah.
I built a house for you. Are you crazy? Of course I want you to be here. Here's my favorite also shot of the film. The shot of him when she's driving back up to the house and he's like all wrapped up
Mm-hmm.
Yo, he looks like trash.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I don't know what Ryan Gosling did. I'm not serious.
Mm-hmm.
He looks like a mess.
Yeah.
And that's how deep
Yeah.
his commitment was. Yeah, Duke was amazing.
I know.
And his dedication, wow, like
yeah, his consistency.
you know, and his
My
consistency,
word is consistent.
yeah.
Consistency.
I just think that Noah's passion came off to me on screen a lot more. And I guess because he's younger,
No,
whatever. Yeah.
exactly. He was young there.
Yeah. So, but I'm telling you, man, that shot of him, I will never forget it. When you see him in the all covered up in the bed,
Yeah.
you're like, damn, man. Yo, you want to go for a drink?
Fine.
You know?
Yeah.
But listen, thank you, Kathy, for joining me.
Thank you for the invitation.
We had a great time. I really
Thank you.
appreciate you as a guest.
Thank
I would
you.
love for you to come back. Don't think that you're not going to come back. We might have to do P.S. I Love You. I might have to watch that film for the future. But all right. So we'll see you next time, guys. This is Luis Agustin from Review the Film.